You are watching the Be a Hero Gaming channel. My name is Ben, and on this channel, we talk about games and how you can be a hero in your real lives. This is going to be one of the most difficult videos I've ever made. And the reason is because, again, my videos are unscripted. I just talk off the cuff. Sometimes I have a couple of notes written down, but for the most part, I'm just talking. And I really hope I say the right thing and get the right idea across. I don't want people to misunderstand when I talk about these cards here. Before I get to that, my wife and I both have several couples that are having a difficult time in their middle years because one or the other kind of just goes along with whatever the other partner wants. And I'm sure you guys know people like this. Maybe you are a person like this, who just doesn't really have an opinion, doesn't really care. Where do you want to go eat? I don't care. What would you like to do? It doesn't matter to me. And they go several years with this attitude of, I don't really care. Or if something bothers them, they don't bring it up. I don't want to ripple the waters. I'm just not going to bring this up. It's just going to make people upset. I'm just not going to bring it up. And they go several years with legitimate concerns that don't get brought up because they're afraid of contention and they're afraid of, again, I'm trying to say the right thing here. I don't want anyone to feel bad. It's just easier to avoid it. It's easier to not talk about it and just move on with your lives. However, the issue becomes, like I said, several couples in their middle years who are starting to have their relationship strained because the person who's always wanted to go along with things has had a change of heart. Hey, I've always gone along with this, and now I kind of feel like I'm getting walked on. And I want my opinion heard, and I want to be validated for once in their life. And then the other partner is shocked. Hey, you've never had an opinion before. You've never cared before. How come all of a sudden you were bringing something up when before you didn't care about anything? That's an issue. And you have to understand that if you have a legitimate concern in your relationship, something you're bothered by, something that is a really big deal to you, it has to be heard. It has to be. You have to be able to feel safe to bring it up, and your partner has to feel like, hey, I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be bothered. I'm going to listen to your concern. And whether it's valid or not, that's up for discussion. That's something that you decide between the two of you. But in a relationship, you should be encouraged to bring up legitimate concerns with the intention of coming to some kind of an agreement. That's the intention. The intention isn't, hey, I want to complain and whine to you about how dissatisfied I am. That's not the idea. The idea is, hey, this is something that's bothering me. What can we do about it? And the reason I bring that up is because it applies directly to this game. And I'm about to be really critical of this. And I hope, please watch the video to the end. Don't watch the first part and get depressed and turn the video off. Please watch to the end. Because there's good news at the end. But I want to talk about something I'm concerned about this game that I feel like has to be brought up, again, with the intention that I know the team will address it and hopefully fix it or come to some kind of resolution. And the reason why I bring this up is because, and the reason why it's so bothersome to me, because I feel like everything that the Wonders of the First Team has done has been amazing. Has been above my expectations, has blown my mind. And so when I saw this thing, I thought, wait a second, this doesn't really fit in with my experience with this game. So I thought I'd bring it up. And again, this is with the intention not to complain, with the intention that I hope there's some kind of improvement to this game. And again, I'm going to be really careful with the way I say this because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I have a couple of the first out here. This one is the foil version here we got. Really cool to hit this one. In fact, I didn't get this one. My son did, and I had to trade him for it, which he didn't easily give it up, but a very cool card there. Now, these two cards, they look the same, but they are not. And let me see if you can notice the difference between these two cards. And it becomes more evident when I do this. You can clearly see that the one on the right has a lot higher sheen than the one on the left. And that's because this is the actual game card. This is a playtest card, okay? And for those of you that had the playtest cards, you were in a unique situation to compare them to the actual cards. And let me show you what I mean here. Now, I know that Jeff had talked about in his grading video that they wanted more of an OG matte finish, which I like. I think the matte finish looks good. It isn't as nice for when you're sliding the cards together. They tend to kind of stick together, which, you know, that's neither here nor there. That's not a big deal. But the smooth finish does make handling the cards a little bit easier. But again, you have kind of a plasticky, smooth plasticky feel on these, the playtest cards, where these, they feel more like paper, more like a cardboard. Okay, well, this feels a little plasticier, which some could view that as being cheap. Others could view it as being durable. I don't know. It's kind of up to you. So I have to say, when we showed up at the Shattering, it was so great to see everybody. We loved that event. It was so well done. But that very first night we got there and started doing the breaking games, we got there kind of late, so we were only able to do one round at the end. I hate to say this, but when we opened up the cards, I was a little disappointed in the way the cards turned out. And most of that is because I had the playtest cards to compare them to. And my mind was blown by the playtest cards. I thought, man, these are so nice. If these are the playtest cards, the actual cards are going to be amazing. And they weren't. And let me show you what I mean. When we opened up some of our cards, this is an extreme example, but we had a couple of cards that pieces were literally flaking off as we were taking them out of the packs. And you can see here, several of these cards have white edges on them right out of the pack. Several of them. And I know they had mentioned that sometimes the puncher has a little defect on it and you get something like this, a little nick in a corner. But it's not just a nick in the corner. It's several of the cards have these little chips in them. Look at the backs of these. This is right out of the pack. And I mean, so if you go down here, these are okay down here. These cards, again, if you haven't got your cards yet, I don't want you to get depressed and think, oh, great, what did I get myself into? Okay. It's still a fantastic game. It's still an amazing game. But man, I saw this and thought, wait a second. This is not okay that all of these cards have these white edges on them right out of the packs. Again, these are fine. All these are good. These just happen to come. I didn't do this. This happened to come together in one batch there. These are all fine. But there were a lot of cards that had those edges, that had these chips on them, pieces falling off the cards. These token cards here, which are foil on the front, you know, again, chips on the corner there. On all four of these corners almost are chipped. This one, kind of this one, right out of the pack. And not only that, but the edge, where it's punched, you can feel a little bit of a lip on the edge here, almost like it curled over when it punched it. And that just gives the cards kind of a little bit of a cheap feel with this little edge curling over like that. And again, the reason why this is such a big deal was because when I got the playtest cards, these are playtest cards here, the bands around the cards had come undone in the box, and they were all everywhere in the box, all tangled up, and I thought, oh my goodness, and I cringed when I opened the box up. Took all the cards out, had to rearrange all the cards, but here are the playtest cards. There's one nick right there, but look at this. Now, not only that, but these were tangled on the box. We had shuffled it. We washed them around the table, my son and I, to do these kind of like pack opening tests and stuff. Shuffled them all around the table. Not only that, you guys are going to die. I've done this a couple times to these cards. They're playtest cards. Who cares? You know? And again, they're shiny. yes, you catch the light here. They're shiny. They're a little shinier than the actual cards, but the durability of these cards after what they have been through to look like that blew my mind. Oh, is that one white? Nope, that's the lettering. And not only that, but they're smooth. And again, that's the sheen, I think, on them. They're so easy to look through and flip through because of the smoothness on them. So when I saw these, I thought, man, if these are the playtest cards, the actual cards are going to blow my mind. And they didn't. And here's another thing. So when you stack these up, they are literally exactly the same size. Exactly. You feel them in your hands, and it's smooth. The sides, the top, they are exactly the same size. Okay? Now, the actual cards, this is another thing, was kind of the kicker for us. We just thought, what on earth happened? So these are smooth. Look at that. That's completely smooth at the bottom. Completely smooth. The top, they are like all different sizes. And it's not just the top, it's the side too. You can see your kind of little gaps where the cards are smaller. And I just thought, what happened in the manufacturing process from those to these? I mean, at least they could be the same size, maybe the nicks or something, but how did this happen where the cards are not even the same size? So, with all that said, did this ruin Wonders of the First for me? No, it did not. No, it didn't, because number one, it's an amazing game. It's an amazing game backed by an amazing team, and I know these issues will be addressed moving forward and future sets. They announced set 2 is going to come out sometime in October, and I'm going to be first in line. I'm going to be first in line for the biggest order that I can order, and I'm going to order the cards, and I'm super excited to see what they come out with next. I'm excited to see the lore advance. And these little nuances will not ruin the game for me. I will still play this game. I will still collect this game. There are a ton of videos that I want to do on this game. One of which is, a little spoiler alert here, is what are your chances of getting a quill box from a case? I happen to have a few cases that I'm going to do a video of opening the cases to see if I get a quill box or not in the cases that I have. And so to give you an idea on what the chances are of getting a quill box. But that's just one. I have several other videos that I have planned for this game. I'm going to continue to cover it. I'm going to continue to talk about it because I think it's an amazing game with a couple of cosmetic defects on the cards. And when you have the cards in sleeves, you don't notice this as much. The sizing, you don't notice as much. Like I said, not all of the cards are affected by this. Okay, here's a few. Not all of the cards are, these are all fine, okay? Not all of the cards are affected. So I don't want you to think if you haven't got your game yet, great, I'm going to pull my cards out and they're all going to be falling to pieces. That's not going to happen. I just wanted to point out the fact that everything this team has done has been amazing, has blown my expectations. And so when something like this happened, I thought, wait, are other people seeing this? Am I the only one? Or have other people noticed this too? That wait, these playtest cards, man, they were just mind-blowing on how sharp and well-made they were. And so I just thought, how did the actual cards turn out like that? I just don't know what happened in the manufacturing process. But again, I'm still going to play. I'm still going to crack packs. And grading the cards might be a little more challenging. But if you get, an OCM or a stone foil or even a formless foil, some of those are one of a kind. And so it doesn't matter what they look like. There's only one of them. Again, I thought this needed to be addressed. I wondered if other people had noticed this. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments below to start, again, a healthy discussion to, again, not to criticize or be critical or complain, but to point out something that's bothersome that we hope will be addressed in the future. I would really love to see the second set of cards come out, and I open up my packs, and they are exactly the same size. I would love that, to open up my pack of cards and stack them up. The smoothness, I don't know. That's up to opinion. They're easier to look through. They slide a little easier when you're looking through the cards. But I agree. I think the shine on them is a little distracting. You know, and these are just satin. These aren't even like glossy or glossy. No way, not glossy. The satin finish, I think, is as far as you want to go. I don't think the cards should be glossy. They go the other way to cheapness if they're too glossy. And so I don't know if the satin finish is the answer, or if they want to stick with the flat finish, if they could address the edges of the cards. And I think the satin finish is probably what gives them a little more strength and a little more durability. I don't know that. I'm not a card manufacturer. I just assume that. But again, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Please post a comment below. You can like the video or dislike the video. Say, hey, I think you're totally off and totally wrong. But I would just love to get a healthy discussion started. Again, the same thing in your relationships. Same thing. If there is something where everything's going great, but there's one thing that's kind of bothering you, it's a big deal to you, you should feel able to bring it up. You should feel safe to bring up a concern and say, hey, let's talk about this. What can we do about this? The point of our lives is progression. The point of our lives is to become better every day. And so we can't do that unless we're pointing out areas in which we can improve. This video has already gone way too long, longer than I thought it was. I hope you watched to the end. I hope you saw the positive part. I am still excited for this game. I'm still excited. I'm going to keep buying it. I'm going to keep playing it. I'm going to keep covering it. And it's going to be a major game staple in our house because the game is so amazing, despite these cosmetic defects. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Be heroes out there. Play games. Crack your packs. And take care.